talking a little bit more about some of the racism issues that we see, Chinook has came up quite a bit, and it was talked about extensively by a lot of the witnesses on our committee. What's your experience, or what do you know of Chinook, this program that it seems like there was no consultations done, and no one even knew it existed until an ATIP was done on it, where we found out it was implemented in, I believe, 2017. What are your thoughts on some of that?
Yeah, so Chinook is just a bulk processing tool. It's kind of an Excel spreadsheet that just enables visa officers to really bulk process applications using boilerplate templates. You can tell when you have a refused application if it was refused through Chinook, because it explicitly says that this was processed using Chinook. I think it's getting a bit of more attention than other aspects should. Like, I actually find the triaging to be more concerning than Chinook necessarily. The way that it all ties into this systemic, racism or bias issues is that, and I think I raised this during committee, was a visa-exempt individual gets to appear at a port of entry, submit their application for whatever in person, they get to be interviewed right away. You spend time in front of an officer. Someone from India or China applies online. They first go through some sort of a triage that really we don't know a lot about. And there's big concerns, for example, and speculation that the triage system for India is more strict than the triage system for China. So right away you have differential treatment there. And then you have Chinook being used to process applications as quickly as possible. And then the example that I gave in committee was that visa officer from the United States saying, our files are all very individualized. We're not like processing homogenous groups like India or China. And so you have essentially, and kind of where the systemic racism or bias issue comes in, is like you have visa officers treating some individuals as individuals and others where the department treats them as these homogenous groups that can be bulk processed, get very little procedural fairness, if any. And, there's unfortunate, just based on which countries are visa exempt and which aren't, and cultures at the specific visa offices, that breaks down a little bit by, race, ethnic group get treated different.
Do you feel like some of the bias is somewhat of a contribution to the backlogs that we're seeing?
The example that people tend to give is that the government was very quick to block travel from India when the Delta variant emerged. When Omicron emerged, they immediately blocked travel from several African countries. Even though, Europe had Omicron, there was never a suggestion of blocking it there or the United States. And would the government allow these backlogs to emerge in, if it was in Europe? It's just the backlogs wouldn't emerge the same way in Europe because they don't need a visa. But you can see it in other places, like it hasn't been lost on a lot of people that for Ukraine, the government rushed very quickly and understandably to try to bring as many Ukrainians basically as could apply and make it. Whereas in Ethiopia, where nothing's happening. So I don't know. It's difficult for me to say whether they would have allowed the same backlogs to arise in, say, white countries, because those countries don't normally have visa requirements. That, say, in India or China or most of Africa, all of Africa does.
Absolutely. And you know what? I raised this issue too, that a lot of people have been noticing or bringing up the issue of, it looks like there's preferential treatment between different groups or different countries. And I hope that, I hope there's equal treatment. That's all everyone is asking for. Because, people are in really dire situations, as we all know. and they want to come to Canada to, come to the freedoms that we have here, and as for the safe haven that we have.